So you've got $100, you want to learn to day trade. Good news is that is enough, but the part that nobody explains is exactly what to do with that first $100. What most people don't realize is that it's not about taking that $100, throwing it into a live, and then just kind of praying it works out. I have spent years in the markets. I do this full time. I also teach one-to-one, so I've seen many times where people go wrong with that first $100. Today I'm going to cover risk management first, just because without that, nothing will work out. Then we'll go over funded accounts, the different types of them, why people fail them, and also what payouts are actually meant to be used for. Let's get into it. To be super realistic, $100 is a starting point. This is not a shortcut. This is not a get-rich-quick type thing. And one of the biggest mistakes that people do make is taking that $100, throwing it into a live account, and expecting it to grow. If we look at that in the sense of risk management and lot size, position size, stuff like that, it just is unrealistic. If you are risking 1% every single trade, that is $1. Let's say you are trading a 1 to 3 risk to reward, you are only gaining $3 every trade. So it will take you years and years and years to flip that account. Most people go into that thinking they're going to turn it into $5,000 in a week. Not how that works. $100 is not your capital, it is your access to get bigger capital. Now, all of these things need to happen in order for everything to work out, so you need to understand risk, and you also need to understand how to use funded capital properly. This video is going to be a full breakdown, no fluff, no need to listen to 3 hours of nonsense. We're going to get straight into it. Risk management needs to be understood first because it is the biggest foundation in trading. A lot of people can make money on the charts. That is not the problem. The problem is keeping it or not taking trades that just swallow the entire profit they just made. A lot of people don't manage risk. They know nothing about it. They don't understand what lot size they are choosing, why they are choosing it, and how that is managing their risk, which is why they blow accounts. When you are managing your risk properly, you should be able to lose more trades in a day than you win, or lose more trades in a week than you win, and still be in profits at the end of all that. Let's say, for example, you are risking $20 on each trade and trading about a 1 to 3 risk to reward. If you lose 3 trades and win 2 of them, you would then be losing $60 to make $120, which, if you think about it, at the end of the day, you are still in $60 profit, and you just repeat the same process with bigger numbers. That is the ultimate goal. These are some examples. If you look at this calendar right here, you will see that there is no risk management, there is no calculations with lots, there's wins, there's losses, but at the end of that month, the profits are red, it is in the negative. Compared to this calendar here, where yes, there are still a lot of red days, but risk is being managed properly, and as you see at the end of the month, it is in the positives. That is the ultimate goal when you are managing your risk. When we're looking at red days, red weeks, it is not failure. It's literally built into the plan. Like, it is impossible that you are going to win every single trade. You need to be prepared for it and manage the risk so that you still end up in the positives. And that is not to say you will never have a negative week or a negative month. Everyone will, but it's long term. That is the entire point of trading, is to be profitable and consistent long term. When you're using risk management, its job is literally to cancel itself out mathematically, and that is why your risk should be determined before you enter any trade. It should not be different from trade to trade. It should not be different from day to day, from week to week. Your risk should always be the same. Your trading plan should always be the same. That is the point of having rules. That is the point of having a plan. When you are over leveraging, when you are revenge trading, when you are over trading, when you are sizing up after a loss, you're just ruining all that math. Personally, when I started trading, I had no plan. Like, I knew nothing. I was looking at these lot size numbers. I had no idea what they meant. I didn't know what you were risking where. Like, when I tell you, like, thinking back at the first trades I was placing in class, like even signals, I was like, I had no idea what was going on. Obviously, I wasn't profitable. I wasn't managing anything. I was pressing anything that I could just to try to understand what was going on. And eventually, with time, when I had to start over and learn everything from the beginning and the basics, I had to set a plan, right? You want a daily loss limit in your plan. You want a number of trades taken in a day in your plan. You want daily targets as a whole. That is what's going to keep you on track to, again, long-term success. The strategy matters a lot less than the risk plan behind it all. I also have a full risk management video completely broken down in very large detail coming soon, so make sure you guys check that out when it comes. Also, just a quick heads up for anyone who's watching this who is serious about wanting to learn to trade, who is tired of messing around and not knowing what's going on, running around in circles. I'm working with a small number of traders one-to-one, and I am planning on opening up a few spots. If you click the link in the description, there's going to be a short video, and then you can book a one-to-one call with me to see if it's a good fit. But again, spots do go very, very quickly. I can only work with a certain amount of people so that I'm able to give them that full attention and that full help that they need. But anyways, back to the video. Now, to make sure we're all on the same page, I do want to chat about what a funded account actually is. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There is a lot of confusion. But basically what it is that you pay a fee for a large amount of capital that you can use to trade. So you pay them the money, you follow the rules of the account, usually you will pass an evaluation, and then you will have access to that capital, which is not yours to keep. You cannot withdraw that money when you pass, but anything that you do make above that is yours to keep. So they're basically giving you access to that $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 account, but they are not giving you ownership. The whole idea behind it is that if you are taking a trade and the trade gains 3%, if you're gaining 3% of $50,000, that is going to be a lot more money than 3% of, let's say, $100. With that as well, a lot of the time there will be a profit split. It'll mostly be 80-20. Sometimes you'll see 90-10, which is just the percentage that you give them in exchange for utilizing that capital. So let's say you take a withdrawal of $10,000, then you would owe them 20% of that and you would keep the other 80%. You are using real capital, and at the end of the day, it just beats that $100. But again, it is not free money. There are rules, there are stages to pass, again, most of the time, and you need to follow those in order to first get access to that capital and second, keep access to that capital. That being said, there is more than one type of funded account, and picking the wrong one will be your first mistake. There is now instant funded accounts where basically you get in, whatever you make automatically is yours above the starting balance, meaning there is no evaluation to pass, but the rules are a lot stricter. They are a lot difficult to keep. It's super easy to make a mistake, blow a rule, accidentally trade during news or whatever the case, and lose the entirety of that account. There is also evaluation accounts. There will be some with one phase, there will be some with two phases, which is basically just you need to hit a certain amount of profit, a certain percentage of profit to prove that yes, you are able to trade, that they're not kind of wasting their capital on you. These genuinely are a lot more lenient when it does come to rules. Obviously, there are still some rules to follow, but it's a lot harder to blow those accounts. It's a lot less strict. There's more room to breathe. And to be honest, if you are a beginner, that is what I would suggest to you. Sure, it might be more boring because you have to pass all these phases and stuff like that, but it's to make sure you are on the right track, especially because a lot of funded companies also have a consistency rule, meaning you need to be consistent with your trading. You're not going to be, making an $8,000 trade and then a $20 trade. They need to know that you're there trading, not gambling. And so it just helps you stay on track. It helps you through that psychology shift of using demo to real money, where you can kind of make some mistakes without losing the entirety of the account. The type of account you choose should be based off of, your level of experience, where you are at in your trading, your consistency, and all those things, not the price. A really good thing to know as well about funded accounts is that most people do not fail them because they suck at trading or because their strategy is bad. It's just because they don't actually read the rules. And we did just talk about a few, but just to give you guys an idea, you already know you have the amounts that you can lose in a day, the amounts that you can lose overall. You also, most of the time, have rules around red folders, meaning you cannot trade directly through a red folder. Most of the time it will be you either place the trade 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after, because again, they want to make sure that their capital is also in good hands. And with that comes that consistency rule, which also kind of goes hand in hand with the amount of days traded. So a lot of firms, you will see they will have a rule of you need to trade minimum 3 days or minimum 5 days. And that is to avoid those people going in there, full porting, placing everything they have into one trade, and then just hoping to get lucky. They need to make sure that you, again, are trading and not gambling. This is what happens to a lot of people, right? They're sizing up after a loss, they're trading news, they're not paying attention, and they're also just not respecting the account itself, so they lose it. And honestly, they deserve to. If you are actually trying to pass an account, you should be following every single rule that is on there, as well as your own rules in your trading plan. You should be managing your risk. It is going to be slow, it is going to be boring, but that is the right way to do it. And if you are not capable of doing that, then you are not capable of becoming a trader. All that to say, the risk plan is what passes these accounts. It's not you, it's not the strategy. It's following the proper steps and doing things appropriately. Now you've got your funded, you followed the rules, it was boring, you passed. What now? The part that people don't explain is why funded accounts existed in the first place, and a lot of people do not know this information. This is exactly how it should roll out. Number one, you buy that account with your first $100. You pass it within the rules, within your own rules. You pass it properly. You take a payout. You move that payout into your own live account. Repeat grow, keep trading live, then you take your own capital, no splits, you don't owe anybody anything, and there are no rules to break except your own. So yes, that is why funded accounts existed in the first place. It is not to be used as a long-term thing. A lot of people do that. They trade in funded accounts, long-term and only in funded accounts. Don't get me wrong, you will always have some fundeds on the side to keep bringing in that capital, but that is not what it's supposed to be used for. Because again, let's say you do have a $50,000 account, you're up to $80,000. That $30,000 difference, that is yours to take, right? You have a bad day, you trade during news on accident, your stuff was glitching, you take a wrong lot, $30,000 that you worked for, gone, right? The whole point is to take those payouts, throw them into a live. Take those payouts, throw them into a live. Now you are trading a larger capital live, where now you're taking out money and you do not owe anybody anything. Realistically, 20% of $30,000 is a lot of money. Personally, I don't want to spend the rest of my life giving 20% of what I work for to somebody for no reason, especially when it does come to like bigger numbers. Oh, the ultimate goal is to graduate off of fundeds, not stay in them forever. You also need to remember there is no timeline to this process. It's going to happen when it happens. The more you rush, the more you force, the worse it's going to go. But all that to say, that is the entire point of your first $100. It is not going to be what's going to make you all that money, but it will give you access to the ability to make a lot of money. So you've got risk, you've got funded capital, and you've got throwing your payouts into a live account. This is the process, and again, that $100 is access. It is not capital. The rules are a test. The risk plan is how you pass these accounts, and it is simple as that. None of this is complicated. It's simply unknown. People do not talk about it. People have no knowledge about it, nor do they really try to go and look for the information. So that's where they get stuck and they just do the same thing over and over, fall into these holes, and think it's never going to work out. Anyways, with all that being said, this is just a reminder that I do have a few spots open to work one-on-one with you guys. This is where I personally walk through all these things with you guys. I walk through the process, I walk through trading from the beginning, and then I'm able to help you guys piece that all together to make sense. Like I said, I can only work with a handful of people at a time, and spots go very quickly. So if you want more information, go to the link in the description, click that short video. It will explain, what it is, who it's for, and then you can book a one-to-one call with me. That is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys did gain knowledge from this. I hope you guys took notes and you take it seriously because it is very serious. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I will see you guys soon. And as always, happy trading.